What's up, guys? It's Parallax Abstraction, and welcome to PXA Peeks at the Tribe. Ooh, boy. Okay, so I got a review code for this the other day. This is an early access game. Very, very early access. And I looked at the pitch for it, and it was like, this is one of those runner-style games, but it also has RPG elements and choices in it, and it takes place in prehistoric times. And I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting, and the pixel art looked kind of neat, so I decided to grab it and take a look. Ooh, yeah. Unfortunately, this guy is pretty rough, but there's some good ideas under the hood here, which is why I wanted to showcase it. So I'm actually going to go through the tutorial here so you can see what's involved. It's pretty straightforward. This game was developed by a small team of people from Russia, and unfortunately, well, I'm just going to go through the tutorial and let you see how this works. It's only played with the mouse buttons and the numbers. Yeah, unfortunately, this game is full of very, very badly translated English. There's major sections of it that basically are missing right now in this early access build, and it's brutally difficult and for kind of arbitrary, unfair reasons, which is what really is frustrating about it. So I'll just let you take a look at this. So this is telling me to enable spears here. So the idea is that you're a tribe that I guess is trying to migrate or something of that nature. And you're running from place to place, trying to get food and survive along the way and grow your tribe. And also you're going to run into some little tribes along the way that you might have to fight. And you're going to deal with larger scale creatures and obstacles. And your goal is to survive and keep your tribe alive as much as possible. And you see here, so there's different elements here that make things a little bit more interesting. So you can switch between just having your hands, which is what you use to pick up food like fruit. You can switch between spears, which allows you to tackle enemies like those deer and things that you saw there. And then there's also a day-night cycle in the game. And at night, you want to bring out your torches so that you can see what you're doing. You can also sacrifice food that you have in order to grow your tribe. And you can also kill some guys and basically cannibalize them. Yeah, and the problem is, as you can see there in the upper right, the bigger your tribe is, there we go. So the bigger your tribe is, the faster your food ticks down. But the bigger your tribe is, the stronger you are. Now, the theory is that there are bigger creatures in this game that you can take out and get larger amounts of food from if your tribe is bigger. The problem is the tutorial nor anywhere else explains how big your tribe has to be in order to combat those creatures. So the only thing I've ever been able to take out in this game is deer. Anytime I try to take out anything bigger than that, I end up losing a whole bunch of dudes because it wasn't enough. Like, for example, this guy. Nope. Doesn't work at all. And I'm basically down to one dude now, and I'm pretty much screwed. So I'm just going to stop here and start over again. So almost nothing is explained in that tutorial, which makes it really, really frustrating to figure out what it is you need to do here. Also, another thing that it doesn't explain to you in the tutorial is that you may have seen how when I approached some of these deers, they were running away. Yeah, the other thing it doesn't explain in the tutorial is that the deer will actually see you if you're on the same row as they are. Oh, so I'm out of food, so guys are starting to die there, as you can see. That happens very early on in this game. And so the deer will actually see you when you're on the same row as them and you have your spears out. So you actually don't want to do that. So you see here I killed another tribe and we ate them and turned them into food because, I mean, hey, prehistoric times, codes of, you know, morality and things like that did not necessarily exist yet. So that's not really to be unexpected. So yeah, one of the things that the game didn't point out in the tutorial is that if you're on the same row as the deer when you have your spears out and the deer sees you, it'll take off. So you actually want to bring your spears out and then not get your guys on the same row as the deer when... you want to get your guys on the same row as the deer only when you see it. Or when you're right on top of it, I should say, not when you see it. So it's a bit of a confusing system, and by using the left and right mouse buttons, you saw my guys sort of spreading out and shrinking there. It's very unclear how many steps are required to spread your guys out in certain ways, and when you have things like bridges in that are coming up very quickly, that can make things difficult. So anyway, yeah, and then as you move along, you're trying to progress all the way to the end here, and you'll get different types of levels that you can get towards where you can experience different challenges, different kinds of creatures, and sometimes there are events along the way, which is what these things are here. Here's one of the fun things, though. Some of these levels, see where it says rocks and muds are work in progress now and don't have their own unique animals and encounters? Yeah, I don't even know what that means. I assume it means there's content missing, but I don't know where. Never tells you, which is kind of ridiculous. Also, as you can see here, this is one of the events that you'll have all the time. So you have the ability, if you have enough food, which I do not, you can pay food so that you can skip the night and start immediately the following morning, or you can just say, forget it, we're moving on. And you start in the night and have to deal with that. Now you see we're out of food, so guys are already dying. So you see here it's tricky because I have to have my torches out in order to see where the deer are, but as soon as I put my torches away, we get kind of screwed here. So this is what you have to juggle, and I just don't find it that fun, especially when it's hard to understand how your guys are gonna spread out, and the patterns, they probably do have a consistency to it, but it's very hard to understand what's happening. So there we go. I died and I lost my shaman. And that's it. This is kind of a bit of a roguelike runner, so when you die, you're out. And you get to start yourself all over again here. And we're back at this. So you see what I said about how there's a cool core idea in here? I've never really seen a game like this before, and I really like what they're trying to do here, but holy crap, man, it is rough right now. There are systems that are just missing. Like I said, there are entire levels that the game will just skip because they're not complete yet. Where the way it places some enemies in the levels makes it impossible to avoid them sometimes, so you can't help but have to sacrifice guys. Now that might be part of the sort of brutal idea of the gameplay in this that they were going for, but I find it just sort of arbitrary and frustrating. So there we go, we're gonna grow the tribe out a little bit here, so we got that. But I don't think we're gonna do any more right now. And again, like you see, there's these big cats and other creatures like that that can get you a lot more food, but it doesn't tell you how many people you need to take them out. So you're just going to have to try to figure that on your own, which is just friggin' frustrating to me. And yeah, the fact that the game can take you through different levels on its map, and this map is randomly generated, by the way, and it can take you through maps that you literally can't do anything at, and where there's elements of it that are completely missing. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And I'm probably going to die here again. And then in the middle, they have their sort of random encounter things. Oh, the shaman ran into something. I don't know what happened there. What the heck? I don't even know. See, things like that will happen where you'll just die repeatedly and you won't really understand why. And you're kind of like, well, great. And now my shaman is basically like, it's just him. Oh yeah, there's sometimes those pterodactyl things that will fly overhead too, and you want to make sure they don't touch you. So he drowned there because he ran into the water because they didn't have him placed right for the bridge. You see what I mean? Runs in this are very quick, and the thing that I find just aggravating about it is that so many times you'll die and not even be sure why, because the game doesn't explain anything to you. And I understand early access is early access, but a comprehensive tutorial is something that should not be missing, period. That should be one of the first things you put together. And oops, I screwed that one up. That was my fault, though. And one of the things that really frustrates me is, like, this game, I understand the developers do not have English as their first language, but hire a bloody translator. Like, the English in this game is horrendous, and you can't tell. Also, I can't pick my... And then the guys wouldn't get together properly, so we just lost a bunch of guys suddenly there as well. And now we don't have enough guys to have spears, so we can't go after creatures, and there you go again. So I want to try to get to one of the text events so I can show them to you, because the interesting part is, one of the chief complaints people have had about this game is that the text events are boring and kind of break from the flow and don't offer much in terms of the gameplay, and the developers are actually debating whether or not they should take them out entirely in the future releases of this. And it just feels ill-conceived, because like they put in all these different text events, but the English in this game is so bad that you just don't understand what they're asking you to decide upon half the time. And I'm kind of like, well, that's a good idea, but if you're going to do that and you're releasing a game principally in the English market, like, yeah, surely you could find someone even on a forum who could translate some of these things for you. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And in this day and age, I don't care if you're early access or not, like not being able to have your game translated to the point where English speakers can understand it if you're trying to sell to the English market is just, I'm sorry, that's just not acceptable to me. It really isn't. You know, I like the idea here, and like it's got a cool, not enough food, so we have to start in the evening. I kind of do like the pixel art style. It's sort of DOS era-y. You know, the animations are pretty basic. There's only a couple of frames per animation. Okay, there we go. We got some food from those guys. But it's kind of neat. I actually do kind of like the look of it. No, the pterodactyl got, or the, not pterodactyl, but the, whatever. The dinosaur what flies got those guys there, so. Yeah, so there was not enough guys there to take those out successfully, so now we're down to almost nothing again. And you see what I mean? The game requires that you move so incredibly... What in hell is this? Well, that didn't look friendly at all. So the game requires that you move super, super quick, but the tools and what you have to do are just so janky that it's... And it just doesn't feel... It doesn't feel natural. Like, it just feels, and like, here, when I've got two guys, I can't spread them out properly to get them to the widths of the screen I need to get to in order to pick up the food and stuff. You know what I mean? All right, here we go. So now I can, so we chase and take more food. See, we chase and take more of every food. We need 3 warriors for every 2 enemies in a fight. So these are little tokens and things you can pick up by finishing different levels that can help you a little bit. But let me, so here's an event here. So the event will happen on your way here. So we click this and I'll show you what this looks like. So see, look here. So you get this text event and you're supposed to make a decision. You can also skip these if you want. You can just click skip and go right past them, which I'm kind of like, well, why even bother in the first place? But it says here, like, you, a fat finger with no nail points at one of our men. You, a huge mouse spits, will fight the mighty Bar, son of Tarong's chieftain. The crowd red with blood roars, shaking spears, blah, 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 da, 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 da. The crowd says, oh, this safe stone. Like, you kind of get what they're saying there, but it's very hard to understand. So you have 2 choices to make here. So we are guards, tells Varu's little brother. The great serpent told us to guard his bed from, well, the weeks. So we test them with fight. Like, what is this? Like, I don't even understand. And I don't know if this is, like I said, if this is just badly translated English or if this is them trying to talk to you the way cavemen would. I don't know if that's true, but either way, it's just frustrating to try to figure out. Thinks the old gawk. The soil bleeds, the rotten air is hard to breathe, but without this blasted bed guard, what will they hold on to? Nowhere to go, they'll grow reek, and you'll gorge them all. So do you understand which of these does which? I don't. But, okay, there we go. Take with you, and you see what you mean about people saying breaking the flow? Like, this is, you're not really doing much here, but there's a lot of reading to do, and it takes longer because you don't really understand what it is they're telling you here. We'll break together with yours, razorbacks of blood bluster through Tarong's throats, clear of it. I know Bar is right, shouts out Shaman, one of the Tarong... Like, what? Da, the little one reaches for Gawk with his plumpy arms. The old man sits him in his sharp knee and gives him a naughty finger. Like, this is just random words to me. He looks at the ravine with tired anger. You have won, you muck. I realized it all, but it must be too late. I don't know. I'm just going to pick something. See, like, look how long this goes on for. So, okay, we passed it. I don't know what happened there or what that means, but... And we actually... So it looks like, I guess, we failed the event, so it means we can't go to the next area, so we have to go to this one. But there's, yeah, so all there is the shaman right now. So there's basically nothing left. Oh, and look, he died because I actually couldn't get him to go onto a bridge properly. Because my only 2 options were the water in the middle. Yeah. I'm sorry. I don't think this game is very good. It's, like I said, it's a cool idea, but it's just not ready. It's nowhere near done yet. Maybe when this is final, it will be better. This is probably going to be in early access for a while, according to their Steam page. But it's so janky. The controls are not very good. The English is unacceptably badly written. The controls just don't respond properly, or getting your tribes organized is too frustrating. There's a bunch of content missing at this point, and yeah. I really like the idea. I think of taking the runner concept, which is getting, frankly, a little bit tired, and combining it with something else like RPG elements and, you know, random events and stuff could be a good idea. But even by the standards of early access, this is just not ready yet. And I don't think people should... I think this game needs to come further along before people invest into it. So there we go. We finished that level. So anyway, yeah, so that is The Tribe, developed by, I don't think there's an actual developer name. It's just these guys. So developed by these Russian people in 2016 for the PC. You can buy this on Steam Early Access right now if you want for, I believe it's $10. I knew this before I started, and then I totally forgot. But yeah, I just don't... Oh, sorry, $5. So $5 US. So maybe when it's done, it'd be worth that. But right now, it most certainly isn't. This is just not ready yet. They could make it cooler. I hope they do. But right now, yeah, don't bother. This is not ready yet. My name is Parallax Abstraction. Thank you guys very much for watching. If you liked what you saw here, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. That would help me out a great deal. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy.